Definitely don't hold it in.
Don't hold it in. The more you hold something in, you harbor it in, the more that your chances of blowing up or something,
At the wrong person.
And suicide comes into the picture because you've been holding this in, you've been isolating yourself, you're not talking to somebody about it, you're not going through your spiritual therapy, whatever it is that you need to do. You have to do that. And you have to be accountable for understanding that who you are and that you want to change. A lot of things with people is when you tell them something, they think that you're attacking them. You're not attacking them. When somebody comes to me and gives me a corrective criticism, damn, give me more. Tell me what it is, but tell me in a way that how you deliver it to me. If you deliver it to me in a negative way, I'm going to disconnect. But if you come to me and you deliver it to me in a way of respect and kindness and trying to come out of love, then, of course, I'm so open to it.
Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Oh, wait. Put these here.
I'm gonna gab you right now.
Huh?
I'm gonna gab you right now.
It's like, getting in here.
I don't know. Which side do you want, Carrie? What's your best side?
What's your best side? What side do you want to sit in?
Are you interviewing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Probably that side.
Don't worry, babe.
No, I didn't know who's interviewing me. I thought you were or he was.
Come on. You know that I'm
Yeah,
not busy.
you're my friend.
I'm gonna step outside and make a call. I'm good.
Oh, you're gonna make some calls?
Yeah,
Oh, you don't want to sit and watch?
No, I don't want to make you nervous. What do you think?
Oh, you're not going to make me nervous? Yeah, it's fine. Can I just put that over there? Thanks. So this looks like you totally... Who did all these paintings?
Who did them?
Yeah.
Someone.
Who's that? You?
Yes,
Who?
ma'am.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
You paint?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. You paint, you dance? What side do you usually sit on?
Whichever side the guest doesn't want to sit on.
So what side does the guest usually sit on?
There.
Do they really?
Yeah.
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 Cool. So am I going to be looking at you?
Wherever you want.
Or are we going to be looking at the camera? Or how does it do it? Because are we going to get my whole side of my face?
Right now your hair's blocking it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking, like, how do we...
There you go. So, like, normally the way that... Like, it's just a one-on-one conversation at the end of the day. And then we'll pull reels from it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? We'll pull reels from it. We'll end up uploading the full unedited version
to
YouTube. So, like, the full version, people can watch it.
Unedited?
Unedited.
Oh, okay. Like, we don't get edit our skin or, maybe a little waistline, like all that.
A little TJ fix?
Yeah. I'm working on that, though, man. I'm working hard on that.
You know what? I mean, you have to do both. You can't just get the surgery and not work out. Like, I see so many girls it's like, dude, you just look like you ate a whole bag of Doritos, but like it all just doesn't go. Okay, whatever. You do you.
Yeah. I see people like that all the time too. And no, I hit the gym every single day. I have to hit the gym every day. I like to be in shape and take care of myself.
I see you do that.
Yes. And I work out hard. My trainer, she is like no nonsense. I'll go up to her and say, hey girl, I didn't sleep that well last night. I only had like 3 hours worth of sleep. So can you go a little easy on me? And she's like, I got you. I'm like, okay, cool. And she'll put like 45 extra plates on there. I'm like, girl, you said you got me. She's like, I got you. She goes, that's not my responsibility for you to get sleep. Whose responsibility is it? And I'm like, you bitch. You said you got me.
Her name is Shay?
Her name is... So Shay is there, but Shay's not my trainer, thanks God. But Michelle is. And so how do you know Shay?
So we met Shay maybe like 2 years ago.
She's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
All those girls are awesome. They're all my friends.
Where is the place at? What's
so I did a little video tour. So it's Michelle over at Pedal Spin. It's strength training. And she used to have a pedal spin class, and then they closed that down, and now it's all personal training.
Okay.
So they've kind of converted that, but they're still in Rancho. And they're dynamic. They're amazing. It's pretty pricey, but for me, I feel like, you know what, you pay for what you get. And I could go to Gold Gym. I've got a membership there, but when I go in there, I don't really know my own routine. There's like there's like a rhythm, or there's like a way that you work out and the way that you burn and the way that you do this and all these things. And I don't know all the dynamics of all that, right? So I really love going where somebody can tell me what I need to eat, what I need to do, how the workout works, where you start to see the muscles. It really is a method.
There is. It's a method to the madness.
Yes. Yeah.
Every professional player needs a coach.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you want to tune your body, you want to shape up, you want to build muscle, you want to lean down, you want to run a marathon.
Yeah.
There are experts in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like you're an expert in what you do.
Yeah.
And so we pay for it. It's price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Exactly. And so I not only that, her value is amazing, and the company that I get along with training with her and her mentality and mindset is all coupled together, that it starts my day like really amazing.
It feels you.
Are we on camera? Because that would have been an awesome treat. I'm just kidding.
We absolutely are.
We have been the whole time?
Since the moment you guys walked in.
Oh, stop it. No, you're kidding me.
No, I'm serious.
Okay. But anyways, yeah. Are you serious, really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
So anyways, yeah, I just don't know whether I should believe you or not. I love the yellow beanie, though.
Every 30 minutes, I'll hit the record button, but it doesn't interrupt anything that we're recording.
Okay, babe, you're gonna be able to stay in here? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I will sit.
Only because he's got ADHD. He goes in and out, all that.
And I'll obey your every command.
No, I'm not asking you to do that, sweetie.
I'll sit back here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good right there.
Okay.
Quiet, please.
Okay.
Ooh, dude, what are you looking at?
I mean, I'm sorry. I forgot to blank out my screen.
No, so that's how I kind of start my day. But yeah, I really love
time you
going
wake up?
there. Huh?
What time do you wake up?
4:45 a.m. every single morning.
Do you have an alarm, or is it like natural?
Kind of gotten natural, but I do have an alarm that I set, and I set alarms for everything. So the night that I go to bed, I set my alarm for everything that has to happen for the next day. So I'm a Virgo. I'm very OCD about certain things, and I learned over the years that discipline and scheduling is like my must, because I don't like to miss appointments. I don't like to be rude. I like to have everything in order. And so I set alarms for everything to make sure that I show up.
I think that's important. I mean, obviously, like even like scheduling this podcast, you had to check your calendar. I have to run on a calendar.
Yeah.
There's too many things, and I can't remember everything.
Yeah.
But the night before, you re-update like maybe the day, like maybe
So what's really cool is that I do what's called a case study, a Pomodoro. Have you ever heard of that? The Pomodoro schedule?
No, I have not.
So it's something that top producers use, and it's a schedule, and it's called a case study. And it's in increments of 25 minutes that you basically do 25 minutes worth of work, and then you block that time out, and then you take like a 5 or 10 minute break. So that way you're not constantly going. So I do that method in my work schedule. And then in addition to that, the night before, every appointment that I have set for the next day is already set that night. So from the time my alarm goes off at 4:45, I do my spiritual from 4:45 till about close to 5, maybe 15 minutes. Then I start getting ready, and then I'm out the door at the gym by 5:15. I'm at the gym at 5:30. My alarm goes off at 5:30 to let me know at 5:15 I need to leave. I get to the gym. My alarm goes off at 6:30 because I'm done with the gym. At 6:45, my alarm goes off because I have to get ready, because I have to be on coaching by 8 a.m. I have to get in the car, be at my coaching by 8 a.m. And then my alarm goes off.
So you're like literally on the clock.
On the clock, every single thing that I do, yes.
Is it, and I may be wrong, is it like to get into flow state? Is that part of the method that you're using?
It's to keep me accountable.
Okay.
It's to keep me accountable. It's to keep my schedule, that I know that what I have in my day is planned, and to know that just the method of it just really is about keeping me accountable and making sure that I know what my day's like. So when I lay my head down on my pillow in the evening time, I know everything that I did, because I basically measured my entire day. So I tracked and I measured my day.
I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, I don't know what to do today, or what am I doing tomorrow? Or it's you just kind of hit the day, and then you just start responding to emails, or you start responding to information.
Yeah.
But yours is systematized.
Everything, every single thing.
How long ago did you learn that?
It's only really been the last like maybe 8 to 6 years and getting better and better. But when I was a brand new real estate agent, I was just like everybody else. I just got up in the morning whenever I wanted to. I strolled in whenever I wanted to. Well, I kind of really didn't. I had a little bit of discipline, but I just would kind of shoot by the hip. Hey, what's going on today? And then whatever happened, happened. But I allowed a lot of distractions too. A lot of distractions. And so it's been the last last 3 years since I've been really diving into my coaching and changing and self-development that I have found what works for me.
What's that method that you said?
It's called the Pomodoro method.
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think methods and systems and understanding yourself. Because
Sure.
at the end of the day, you said you're Virgo, right?
Yes.
So it's you understanding who you are
Yes.
and what works best for you.
Yes.
Because it might not work for someone else.
Right.
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 And so with your career in real estate, have you had multiple coaches or is this like the first
Oh
time?
no, multiple coaches.
Okay.
Yeah. I've started with a coach back, I don't know, 20 years ago, kind of just a mindset coach, Wanda.
You were like 5 or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Like 5?
yeah. I was, well, we're very young. With Wanda, we all know Wanda Payne. She's been around for a long time, and so she was my mindset coach, helping me through, trauma things that have happened in your life that distracts you when you're younger. And then later on, as I started making more money and started developing myself, I got another coach, and then I would kind of elevate each time and elevate and elevate. And now I have a coach that, to be honest, I spent $20,000 on for a coach, but I'm getting like high producing stuff. I can see the changes, and it takes a while to get there, but everybody needs a coach. Like you said, like you started out, like you need a coach. But I will tell you by having a coach and what you pay into it, you're certainly going to show up, and I'm going to make sure I show up. I pay for my coach for the gym. I show up, and it's a pretty hefty amount. It's like there's no reason, no excuses.
Accountability.
Accountability, but yeah, it's out of my pocket too.
Well, of course.
It's skin in the game right there. Yeah.
You have to. One of the things that when I've talked to other agents, other entrepreneurs, the challenge is exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not motivation, because at the end of the day, sometimes we're not motivated, right? We don't want to get out of bed,
Yeah.
but it's commitment.
Yeah.
It's like commitment to make the calls, commitment to get up, commitment to your workout routine, commitment to your calendar. And if you have somebody that you paid, like, I'm definitely committed to getting this done.
Yeah, when you pay $65 for a coach an hour, your ass is getting out of bed, right? That's a lot of money if you think about that. And I go 3 days a week to her personally. So my butt is getting up out of bed, and I'm going to go and I'm going to work my ass off. But I'm going to tell you that when I'm done, I feel like $1 million. Have you ever had anybody walk out of the gym and say, "Oh my God, I feel like shit"?
No, but I feel sleepy.
You feel sleepy? Oh my gosh. You need to do like a Celsius or something then, or drink a drink while you're in there.
Every time I work out, I start falling asleep.
Shush.
If I'm doing anything in the
Okay,
gym,
we need to find you a trainer.
I can't. I hate the gym. So I hate it. But I hate looking worse physically more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm committed to looking a certain way, even though I hate it. I'm not that guy that gets a pump at the gym and it's like, oh, like I feel great.
What do you hate about it?
It hurts.
Well,
it hurts.
Don't you love that? Or even tattoos, dude.
Yeah, I hate needles.
Tattoos hurt.
I hate the tattoo appointment. As soon as I schedule it, I'm like, dude, it's gonna hurt.
Oh my
hate
God.
it.
I love the pain of working out. I
You do.
Oh my God, I do. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it because it challenges me,
Mhm.
and I love to be challenged. And just like when if somebody tells me like I fucked up on something, or hey, you should have done this way, and you should have done this way. And I'm sorry, I'm being real. I'm a Christian and all that, but you know what? God still loves me. But you know what? I take it like I'm like, cool. It's like, tell me what I could do to improve. Tell me how I could get better.
Have you always been that way?
No.
Okay.
No. In my early 20s, I was like everybody else. Oh, you're attacking me. Oh, you're insulting me. Oh, you're this or you're that. You're negative. In my 30s, still the same way. And it wasn't until like the last 8 years when I really started doing a lot of self-improvement. And there's a huge story behind why I got into self-improvement. And so now I love where I'm going. I would never want to be who I was 10 years ago.
It's growth.
It's growth. Yeah. And I think that our society, and it's really sad because I think a lot of people go, oh, that person used to be this way or used to be that way, or oh my God, she was that way and she was that way, or whatever they want to say, right? Because people just are mean and they just say whatever they want. I think people need to celebrate people's growth more. I think that they should acknowledge it and celebrate it and let people like move forward. If you're not, and you're the same person and you've been the same person and there's no growth there, okay, whatever, you know, but when you're growing and you're doing things, you're changing, celebrate the growth. Celebrate people. Be kind. Be beautiful. Be loving.
All of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is this, right? So sometimes we outgrow friendships, relationships, careers.
Mhm.
And Jordan Peterson talks about like focusing on a target.
Mhm.
As you focus on a target and the closer you get to it, that target might change, right? Or if you're going up a ladder, the ladder example, you're walking up the stairs as you're moving towards that goal where you can see further ahead
Mhm.
and your goal changes. Well,
Mhm.
you as a person, you change. You're supposed to change.
Yeah.
There's no freaking way I could be the same. It's funny. I was talking to someone, I think this weekend, we had a charity event for WeRep.
Yeah.
And I was telling him again, like I haven't drank alcohol in 12 years, maybe 10
Really?
years.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
Me neither.
19-year-old me, when I
Yeah.
met you,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
wasn't drinking at 19, but 2
Yeah.
years after you met me,
Yeah.
I was drinking.
Yeah.
And I just went down, you know,
Been there, done that. Yeah.
woo,
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah.
And so if I didn't change, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I know.
And
get
so
it.
change and growth, it's positive, and people say like, "Oh, well, you change, you think you're better than us." It's like, no, I'm better myself.
Yeah.
I'm a better person.
Yeah.
And I'm going in another direction.
Yeah.
You want to come with me? Like it's cool, but I don't need to go to the bar every night. Like
Mhm.
just me personally. Like I'm not judging you for going to the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you
You
for
just have
partying.
outgrown that. That's not where it doesn't serve you anymore.
Not anymore.
Right.
It did for some time.
Yeah.
You know.
Me too.
So
Oh my
it was
gosh,
fun.
gosh. A couple bottles of wine served me really well.
Yeah. So growth. We got to celebrate people.
Yep.
And I think
Yes.
we have in our career.
Yes.
This is what I was saying. We're lucky because in our career we are taught many things early on development.
Correct.
Right. As an entrepreneur, as a real estate agent. But the regular guy, the regular girl, like it doesn't even get introduced to them. So
Mhm.
how were you introduced to like personal development aside from like Wanda in real estate? Like was it something that you seeked after or was it just the business itself?
That is such a broad question because no, it was the bad life that I lived, the trauma that I lived. So as you know, I'm just going to be, we're going to be candid here, right? So
100%.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my background. So I grew up with a single mom, and moved here from Spain when I was a baby and been here my entire life. And my mom just had her own generational things that went on with her. And so she didn't raise us the best. And I have two siblings. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My younger brother kind of did his own thing, went sideways a little bit. And then my older brother, he moved away. So our family was never close and our mom was never close about keeping us close. And I think it was just had a lot to do with her generation, right? And so we didn't have a lot of like great memories and all that. Anyways, fast forward a little bit, I was dragged and taken out of my house and put into a foster home. So I grew up in a foster home. I grew up in a group home, back and forth. I remember, and I'll never forget this, that when I would do something or whatever would happen, if it was maybe a little argument between people that were in the group home or in the foster home, or somebody tried to fight me or whatever it was, I would have to walk from the foster home, which would be like a group home facility type thing, and walk down this like desert. And through the desert by myself, there would be snakes and all this stuff. I never really saw them, but there could be.
What
And then
desert?
I would have to go sit on a stump. They had these stumps. And you would have to sit in the stump in a hot sun for like hours to realize what is it that you did? Like, what did you do? That was your punishment. And so I would have to sit on that stump quite often. And I remember, and I was only like 15 or 14, 15, 16 at the time. And I remember that was the lowest point, I think, at my life at that time. Like, gosh, I'm like 15 years old. I'm living in a group home. All my other friends are somewhat thriving, it looks like. And why is this happening? And I had like no self-worth whatsoever. None at all. And I had nowhere to go. And my mom, even till this day, never counseled me, never showed me love, never had a real relationship with me. So I never knew what that was like. So I absolutely had no worthiness of who I was. I didn't even know where I belonged. And when you sit out on a stump, you're just thinking of all these worst things in your head of why are you sitting on the stump, and why are you in a foster home, and why does anybody want you, and why, and all these things. And so that's kind of where it all started. And couple of years went by, and finally, I went home and moved in, and it just was not a very, it wasn't a dysfunctional home where like people were beaten or anything like that. It was just no love, no affection. Could do what I wanted. I could stay out all hours of the night if I wanted to, and constantly in trouble, sneaking out of my windows, all this stuff, because that's kind of what I was accustomed to, right? And so, finally, it was just 16, 17, got a job, and I was pushing carts at Stater Brothers. And I remember, and I'll never forget this, and I was there, and I remember I was so excited because I could push like 25 or 30 carts at one time, and it was just like, all the carts. Little me, like 5 foot tall, right? Carts, and I'd make sure every car saw me, like how many carts I could push and get them all together. And I remember the store manager walked out, and I remember his name was Alfred, and I'll never forget him. And he walked out, and he said, "You keep doing what you're going to do, and I'm going to promote you." And it stuck with me. Because it was like, here's this girl that grew up that never thought she could ever like be anything, right? And so he told me he was going to promote me, and it was like 2 weeks later, he sent me to checker school. So I became a checker. Now I was making a little bit better money. And then after that, I was promoted to bookkeeper. So now I was working in the office, and I was counting all the money. I was setting up the drawers, and I just kept going up the ladder. And then I was promoted to a supervisor, and then I was promoted to a senior supervisor. And then I wanted to be a police officer for a minute, because now I was starting to get a little like, okay, this is exciting. And then of course that changed. And then after that, I decided I wanted to kind of get into real estate. So I left, and I kind of maxed myself out in the grocery business. But the cool thing was that I was developing. That's when I started to notice and started to kind of grow about my self-worth, and that I was becoming somebody because I was given a chance and an opportunity. But I still didn't know, because my brain hadn't developed on what that meant. So when I got into real estate, got into coaching, coached with Wanda on mindset. So now I starting to understand who I was, and the reasons that maybe my mom was the way that she was, and all these things, because I harbored so many bad feelings, right? Like, why did all these things happen to me at such a young age? And so then after that, I just started coaching with more in a business aspect. And then from there, during that time, I'd gotten into a really, really dysfunctional relationship, because again, back to the self-worth thing, not knowing your worth, and got into a really, really bad dysfunctional relationship where it was a lot of cheating, a lot of drinking, a lot of alcohol. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just do that every 30.
What does that mean?
I'm recording a new segment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still recording the whole
all right.
thing.
So got into alcohol, started drinking a lot, and probably doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I forgot where I was going with that, because you did that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So just got into alcohol, started drinking a lot, just kind of, and then the dysfunctional relationship just got really, really bad. Brought him into my business, and then did that for about 5 years, and realized that this was really bad, and I needed to do something about it. And I think at that time, that called off the relationship. And when I called off that relationship, I had to find myself again, because I lost myself. I lost myself in a very toxic relationship. And I want to be honest, it happens all the time, right? A lot of people are in toxic relationships, and I knew that I needed to get out of that relationship. It was very, very toxic, but it was really hard, because it was like a 5-year relationship. And there were small kids that were involved now, right? And I didn't want my kids to think that it was a revolving door. And so finally got out of that relationship and started working on myself. That's when I started like going to the gym and started, just working a little bit more on myself. And then a few years later, met Eric, and we just started. We were drinking at the time. We were still drinking back then. Just to probably drink, I don't know, we drink quite a bit, I guess, still. And then at some point, we decided that it was no longer serving us to do that. And we both decided to quit at the same time. So during that time, and it's now been, I want to say 7 or 8 years now, that's when the real self-development started really going in. So now I was starting to go to believing in my faith now. I was getting into God and reading the Bible and doing all that. And I just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And then I started now coaching more and now wanting to change and loving the change that I was having, just like you probably do, just loving it. And I remember that 3 years later, after Eric and I were dating, that the same person that was in the dysfunctional relationship I was just kind of moving on to one woman to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It was just a habitual thing for him, and I was a victim. But I didn't know that because I didn't have any worth and I didn't see that. And I thought it was the only thing that I could get or whatever, and the only person that would love me because I really came from no love. And so started finding out, loving myself. But anyways, a few years later, I get a phone call, and it was a girl, and she had said to me, "Hey, my name is so-and-so," and her name was Michelle, and she said, "I am married to a guy that you used to date, and I just got out of rehab, and there's a lot of things about him that I'm finding out that I didn't know, and I didn't see any signs. Do you have a chance to talk to me?" And I said, gosh, girl, you know what? I'm actually walking into a housewarming party. I'm running a little late. Do you mind if I call you later? And she said, yeah, that's fine. And so when I got in there, I was kind of like, am I going to call her? I'm like 3 years over this. Do I want to talk about this? I don't want to talk about this. I'm over it. I'm past this. I'm like with a new man now. Like I didn't even want to even discuss it, right? 2 days later, I get a phone call that she had committed suicide. And so for a long time, maybe quite a while, I think I felt a little guilty that maybe if I would have called her back, I could have stopped it. But that's kind of the borderline of where I was in that relationship. Like if I would have allowed myself and not started finding myself and started learning and growing, I could have been that person. And so from then on, I just started really diving really hard into self-development and really just thanking God and just really knowing that God protected me and really started leading into all of that. And then I just started going from there, and it's just constant coaching, constant into my faith, reading the Bible, speaks to me, listening, stop drinking, and just on and on and on. And it still gets better every day because I'm definitely imperfect. And I still have trauma. I still have things that I think about. I still cry. I still do all the things that we do as human beings, right? But I know where to go now. I know where to go. When I'm having a crisis, I know where to go. I know what to do, and I know how to get myself out of it. And I know how to not let it unravel. And part of that is being sober.
It's like a lifelong journey of growth and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it was not purposeful, or not purposeful, but proactive rather more than reactive, and kind of just finally getting that guy to give you the first chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you just start growing, and you don't know why you're growing, but it's happening. You're putting in the work.
Yeah.
And then meeting Wanda, and then someone from the outside looking in, giving you the coaching. But then as you go through life, the biggest thing that I could take away from the story is that you're always growing and learning if you have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to a certain level, then another coach comes into your life, or another person comes into your life and helps you grow. But never satisfied with growth.
Never. Mm-mm.
Like you don't stop learning. Like if you think you stop learning in college or university or whatever it is, like you're done.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Mike. He's working on a few things right now, and Mike was telling me, he's like, "There's so much." He's like, "But I'm so excited. I'm so excited with what I'm working on right now."
Yeah.
It's something that I've never done, but this is super exciting. And obviously, he's sharing things with me, and it's the same thing with kind of like with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like that personal growth.
Yeah.
But sometimes that growth is really hard.
Yeah, and a lot of times there's people that will start something and start some growth. And let's use an example, like say you decide that you're going to do something in January, right? Like New Year's resolution. I don't really set New Year's resolutions anymore. I just kind of set goals for myself because sometimes, and always in the middle point of January, people stop whatever it is that they're destined to go out and try to do, right? And they never allow themselves to get to the other side. Because once you get past that point and you get to the other side, oh man, it feels so good. You just want to keep going and going and going and growing and growing. And I just want to be better. And I want people to understand that there's so many distractions in life and so many things, and we all have a story and we all have some kind of trauma that we dealt with, right? But if you do the work and you put it in and you know and you take accountability and you realize that you need to grow and screw everybody else on what they think about you and quit being a people pleaser and all of those things and start working on yourself, people are going to stick with you. Because sometimes people that are successful of success breed success. It's one of the things I always say. People want to emulate you, whatever it is. But you got to do the work. And it's hard. There's times I don't want to get out of bed. There's times I cry. There's times I throw a fit. There's that. But you know what? I also have been taught, too, that you can do those things, but do them in increments. So meaning, if you want to cry, cry for 25 minutes, but don't stay in bed all day and sob and have a pity party for yourself because it's just going to take you down a rabbit hole, a really dark rabbit hole if you do that, because then you've not accomplished anything. You can't keep moving on your day. And so for me, I'm up at 4:45 before the rest of the world wakes up because I want to make sure I get everything done that I have set for my goals. Because I know that there's going to be so many distractions that can happen. It could be good. It could be bad. It could be a great opportunity. It could be something somebody says. It could be anything. And so I want to get that done. I want to get all the good work out of the way because if that happens, then I know how to take that challenge. And I arm myself every morning too. So before I even get started with my day, I'm already armed, but when I say armed, meaning I put armor on myself, my spiritual armor, my workout armor, my exercise, my food, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do, what my day is like, what it's already done. I already know what that looks like.
It's like you're planning everything.
Yeah.
I was talking to Diego this weekend, and there's certain things that we were getting into, and he said, "Look, the same thing about movies and your storyboard, right?
Yeah.
So." You have a choice every single day of how you want your movie to look.
Correct.
How do you want your movie to look? Or how do you want your book to be?
Right.
Right? How do you want your screenplay to be?
Right.
So you have everything written out, or you have everything that you already know that's going to work. But that's a very inward conversation, right? It's a very like, where am I at? What am I doing? What do I need to improve on? Constantly. And sometimes, I don't think it's masochist, but because me personally, I'm a masochist, like with myself, like I beat myself up.
Yeah. Like
that's how I get motivated. I don't get motivated with positive encouragement.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, good job. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah. Right.
I get motivated with sports, with like that locker room talk where the guy's yelling and effing this and just like that's how I get fueled. Others, you talk to them like that, they'll start crying. Yeah. So you have to take the time to understand yourself. Yeah. Just like as a man, you take the time to understand a woman. It's like, what does she really want? What does she really need? Like, you guys are so hard to figure out. But it's really easy to figure out if you listen. If you listen. See, that's the thing. If you listen. Is that if a man listens? Yes. There's so much you could find out about a woman. If you listen. Right? You have to listen, though. Yeah. Yeah. And if you listen, then like, okay, well, she likes me to buy her things, right? Like, or she likes for me to do things for her, acts of kindness, or she wants me to cuddle with her. So there's the love languages, right? And so my love languages for me and my husband is I would love my husband to remain compassionate and have empathy for situations and be there for me and back me up and have my back as opposed to him really going out and buying me a bunch of stuff. I truly feel like that's what I need more, and that's what my love language is. My love language is hugs. Yes. Yes. I love affection. Yeah. I'm that guy that like hold hands, like Yeah,
Yeah.
like our whole life with my mom. So like even to this day, if you see my mom, we'll jump on her lap and
Oh yeah. See, I never
know,
had that. So
yeah,
I'm not that like that affectionate, like
right.
let's hold hands or whatever. Like, I could be. I
Hmm.
love, but I'm more of um the
Being
closeness
there,
of
close to each
the
other.
talking, the having a great conversation, a very articulate conversation about what are we going to do about this and how are we going to work this out and how should we do this, and I'm like, for me, that excites me. And
It's like
that,
your partner supporting you mentally and
yes,
emotionally.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
that's also important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is that from a girl coming from, dysfunction and being in a foster home and trauma and sitting on a stool, on a stump, I don't call it a stool, on a stump, and pushing grocery carts and working our way all the way up with all the distractions and not knowing how to cope with things because I wasn't taught any values or morals on how that really looked like, and teaching my own self and then loving what I'm learning and then growing from it, and now celebrating my growth, telling everybody that, kind of like the whole cliche is, I can do it, you can do it. And now fast forward, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. I mean, I've got still some, things that that I still deal with. I'm human, like I said, and but I know how to deal with them, and I have better days than I do bad days, and I love what I do. My biggest thing that I always tell people is, you're only worth the amount of value that you give to others. And so my whole thing and my legacy to leave behind to anybody is, how many people can I help? And as many people as I can help, whether it's a pay it forward compliment, or I can teach you something new, or I can help you with work, or I'm generous. I'm very generous. I like to say that. And however I can help you, I want to make a difference, if it's a small difference. And I do not like being around people that are negative, people that are, pessimists, people that, I can only tolerate for so long because I've had so much growth that when that happens, it drains me. And I am at an age now where, when I was in my 20s, I could probably tolerate it a little bit more, and my 30s too. But now it's like, you know what? You're draining me. This is too draining. I can't do this anymore. And I get to make a choice whether I want to be there or not. And so a lot of times, if it's something that's going to drain me and it's emotionally going to drain me, I'm not going to allow myself to go back to where I've just done all this work. And then, I have some younger girls are like, and I'll be honest, I would say, oh my gosh, how did you do this? Or how did you do that? It took me 56 years to do this. It takes work. And I embrace that. And I'm very serious about that. I'm very passionate about that. And I will not let anybody take that away from me. And I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table. And it's taken me a long time to get there. But I know my worth.
When someone's not feeling worthy, is there something, a tool, an exercise, uh, something they can write down that can help them realize that they matter, that they're important, something that you would tell someone as a friend, like, that's not feeling peachy? What would you say to them?
First, I would like to find out a little bit about what the current situation is. Usually if somebody comes to me with, some sort of crisis or something they're going through, I want to kind of understand the situation. And I usually will lead them with, this is something that resonated with me and somewhere in their story, and this is what I did, and this is what helped me. And this is what made me feel better. If I could tell you and give you some advice, this is what made me feel better. If let me give you an example. I have a young girl, and she has a dysfunctional kind of upbringing herself, and she just got a position and maybe doing some insurance, and so she's kind of moving up that ladder at a very young age. And I said to her, hey, you know what? When I first became a real estate agent, I wanted to look and feel and play the part. And what worked for me is I would wear suits to work. It made me feel good. It made me feel powerful. It made me do all these things. I would love that if you were open to that I could give you some suit jackets, or I could give you some suits and see what that does for you. Would you be okay with that? Because sometimes you don't want to you don't know where somebody is. And if I was to say, basically, you dress frumpy, you need to put a suit on, that comes across so different. So it's all in the delivery of everything. So I would always recommend, hey, you know what? This is what I did. It made me feel good. I journaled. I read books. I listen to podcasts, and I definitely am into my faith. My faith is number one. So if I had to really give the one thing would be saying getting your relationship closer to God. Because once you get or whatever your higher power is, right? For me, it's God. For me, it's the Bible and all of that stuff. And when I hear something that I'm going through and I am looking for that message to give me the word, the advice, and instead of going to a friend like I used to go to, I would go to my friends before. I still have my talks with my girls, but I would go to a friend. But I don't do that as much anymore because I get my answers from the Bible or a message that I listen to every single morning when I hear the word and it resonates with me. It's like, I get it. Now I understand. Now it just gave me the answer I'm looking for. And so that would be my advice is to, where to go, journal if you want to, talk to somebody, maybe some spiritual therapy, whatever it is that you need to, but you can't hold it in. And you certainly can't tolerate it. The more you tolerate, and there is that thing, the more that you allow somebody to mistreat you, the more that you're teaching them how to treat you.
So look inward. Don't hold it in. You got to talk to someone, right?
Correct.
But look inward. Sometimes those answers you actually have, you might not want to share it with your friends, but look with your higher power, whether it's God or something else. But definitely don't hold it in.
Don't hold it in.
Yeah.
The more you hold something in, you harbor it in, the more that your chances of blowing up or something,
At the wrong person. And
you can, suicide comes into the picture because you've been holding this in, you've been isolating yourself, you're not talking to somebody about it, you're not going through your spiritual therapy, whatever it is that you need to do, you have to do that. And you have to be accountable for understanding that who you are and that you want to change. A lot of things with people is when you tell them something, they think that you're attacking them. You're not attacking them. When somebody comes to me and gives me a corrective criticism, damn, give me more. Tell me what it is, but tell me in a way that how you deliver it to me. If you deliver it to me in a negative way, I'm going to disconnect. But if you come to me and you deliver it to me in a way of respect and kindness and trying to come out of love, then of course I'm so open to it. And then that relationship, when you're getting that corrective criticism and you're taking the accountability, you realize that you both are communicating on a level that you never thought you could communicate on because you're understanding each other and you're not feeling attacked and feeling that you have to defend yourself. And when you start feeling like you have to defend yourself, the conversation just goes so sideways because now nobody understands. And now you're just kind of butting heads. So you have to be able to be open to listening to whatever type of advice. And I love giving advice because I've been through it all.
I was talking with my mom. I was telling her I was going to have you on my podcast.
Oh, what did you say? I want to know what that meant, what that means.
No, it's like, so today she was going to LA and she was like, oh, so what are you doing today? I was like, oh, I'm going to have, someone on the podcast.
So known for so many years.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, well, who is it? I'm like, oh, it's someone that I've known for a very long time. And then she said, can I tell you something? And I'm like, of course. And so she proceeded to give me advice about my podcast, right? So my mom has been in sales for all her life, right? Serial entrepreneur. And one of the things that she taught us was to listen.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get good at listening.
Yes.
And so, part of that, she goes, I just want to tell you again, remember to listen.
Yeah.
Right? Remember to listen. And
that's the best advice.
And with women,
in
business, listen. Like, don't wait for your turn to talk. Always listen. And when she gave me the advice, part of the constructive criticism is I'm always willing to listen to constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to do right by me.
Yeah.
She's trying to help me. It's what you said earlier. You want to help people. You want to help others. And so you're always finding a way to help others. I had somebody recently tell me, hey, I just saw your recent podcast talking about men and not being able to share certain things. I want to let you know that just watching that podcast, I reached out to a therapist and now I'm going to start talking to a therapist. And so
So amazing.
it's the tiniest thing.
Mm-hmm.
The tiniest thing, but I'm so glad that it's helping people,
Yeah.
right? People's story, like yourself, with
Yeah.
what you're saying, your self-worth, the relationship, even like the business stuff, because you're fucking badass. Right? You are.
It's discipline.
Well, yes, discipline.
It's discipline.
It's commitment.
Mhm.
It's not motivation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're motivated and
Yeah.
sometimes we're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's keeping your goals, it's keeping yourself accountable and knowing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're so afraid of ourselves that we just don't even want to spend time with ourselves.
Correct.
We go from, Diego calls it the monkey bar relationship,
Mm-hmm.
which is one relationship, I'm on to the next one, another relationship, and you're just
Mhm.
like relationship, but at the same time, all you're doing is replicating your old relationship because you haven't worked through your shit.
Right. It's kind of like you shouldn't move around from broker to broker, right?
Mike and I were just talking about that.
Yeah, just you know what? You
You
can
shouldn't
fix
do
your
that.
shit. Fix yourself. It's not the
It's
other
not your
people.
broker.
It's you.
It
Fix
could
yourself.
be. I mean, it could be,
I mean,
right? It
it
could be.
but a majority of the time it's not. You need to fix yourself. You need to be accountable. You need to want to do the work, and you need to whatever, because it's not your broker. Your broker will give or take or whatever. And there are some that are out there that, you know, whatever, but not going into the broker side of it. I'm just saying it's usually us. It's usually us, but we want to blame everybody else. And once you stop blaming everybody else and you start saying, you know what, maybe the way I delivered that message, or maybe I did something, or maybe I'm unaware of what I did. And then that person tells you, hey, you really hurt my feelings when you said this or you did this. And now you're a little more aware of it. And now it's like, you know what, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. How can I fix it? Or what can I say? Or what can I do to make it better? And then at least this acknowledgement. And everybody wants acknowledgement. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants a community. And so I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a good place, and I just keep moving forward every day. Like this morning, I didn't want to get out of bed to go to the gym. You know, there's times I want to sleep in. There's times I want to just say, oh, let's call it a day. But you know what? I'd rather, once I get up and get going and I show up for my team, man, it just gives me the best feeling ever. Just being there and being able to help other people and show them how to help other people, because they need us more than anything right now. People need each other right now. With the world the way that it is right now, there needs to be so much more love and kindness. My mom, okay, talking about moms, so I called my mom this morning to check on her. We don't have the best relationship, but I called her to check on her because that's what I should do, right? My faith tells me to do it. My heart tells me to do it. The Holy Spirit tells me to do it. And I called to check on her, and she told me about this drunk guy that has been helping her for years. And now I guess he's getting really heavily into alcohol, and she didn't want to let him in the house. But he's been helping her out, like does things around the house. And for years he's been doing this, right? And he's got his own trauma. And I said, Mom, can I give you a little bit of advice? Same thing, like your mom said.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I'm 57 years old, going to be 57 years old. I'm old enough to give you a little bit of advice, Mom. And she goes, what's that? And I said, you know what? This guy's been around. He's been helping you for a long time. He obviously has a problem. And you did the right thing by not letting him in your house because you live alone. And I can appreciate that. And I can agree with that. But also understand and give people mercy and give people grace, because everybody's going through something. You can talk.
No, I had the same exact, well, no, not
Yeah.
even the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But I was at a restaurant yesterday,
Yeah.
and the waiter kept I felt like he was fucking with me.
He's annoying you or what?
Bad. I was about to lose my patience, but the person I was with, just kind of like, you're really trying not to be a jerk. Like, you're really thinking about certain things. So you could see it in my face.
You're right.
And
the person said that to you. Yeah,
the person sitting in front of me, and I
yeah.
said, you know what? I don't know what he's going through.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what this guy's going through. If he had a bad day, if he had a bad week. We're getting shitty service right now, and I'm getting pretty annoyed, but he doesn't deserve that from me.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going through.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And I can take this for him. Like I can absorb this right now, and it's just being more empathetic, right? Like
Absolutely.
understanding of everybody's going through some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Some more than others. I had a friend of mine just 2 days ago, simple question, like, hey, how you doing, man? And the response was like, not great. cancer, death
Hmm.
within a couple of days, and I could see it. I'm like, oh shit. And again, it's a simple question to ask someone, but he opened up to me. I would have never have imagined he's going through that, and he's carrying all that weight. He's carrying all that weight, and sometimes we have to be more understanding of others. And
Imagine if you would have reacted to that. Imagine what it would have done to you mentally and to that person. So when you don't react to something, and that's why people say don't react to certain things, which is true.
Mhm.
If you react to it, it like if I react to something, and sometimes I do, and I have to hold myself back, it will completely distract me and throw me off of my whole plan. And when something throws me off there, it drives me crazy because I have worked so hard to get to where I am, to plan out my days, to do what I need to do, to feel good, to do that. And when that happens, it's really hard and it really throws me off. And then when it throws me off, I beat myself up really bad about it. And so I try not to react to certain things because I know what it's going to do to me because I know me.
The friend that same night where the other guy was telling me about like the death that he's experiencing, he tells me, he's like, always look for the good in things, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry to hear about that too.
yeah, dude, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. So he said, always look for the good in things. And that's my natural state. Like you and I have some crazy shit that happens every single day for what we do for a living.
Yeah.
I think if you're if you've been in the real estate industry and you're as successful as you are, you've seen some shit.
Yeah.
And your days are just like, how do I fix this and how do I fix that and how do I communicate this message? So you're good at managing.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of that, right?
I have gotten better being in a mentorship position and a leader, which is always what I've been, which I love. It's hard though. You have multiple personalities, and if you work with a lot of women, or there's just a multiple, and then you have your clients you're working with, and I've learned, and you have to wear a lot of different hats. But yeah, it is. Yeah, everybody has their thing, and you just kind of have to. It's tough.
I mean, it's like the simple thing. If I'm working with an engineer, there's a certain way I talk to him.
Exactly.
If I'm working with, I don't know, someone who works at a warehouse, there's a different way I communicate with them. Same level of service, right? Same level of intent, but, or again, it could just be a driver versus, someone who wants the fuzzy feel good stuff.
Yeah.
And then when, poop hits the fan and everybody's a little crazy, it's up to us to try to keep things together.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things in our industry is to be able to respect each other, to be able to understand that we don't work for one another.
Right.
Like as a lender, I don't work for that realtor, or as a realtor, like that's not your lender. It's like, it's a team. Like, how do we help each other? How do we get through this? Like, let's find a solution versus allowing egos to come into play.
So that's something that I've been talking, kind of going back and forth with my team about, is having them understand, especially the younger generation, understanding that as a solo agent, it's really hard because I've been a solo agent, and with all the marketing costs and all the different things, and most people are joining teams now because as a team, you collaborate so much more. And when you're collaborating, you just can get so much more done because now you guys are feeding off of each other, you're helping each other, you're passing off responsibilities to each other, and it's not just an it's a team in that. And I just think that that's just a great way to be, and to be working with a team and having the right people on your team that are just as hungry and that really truly want the value that you offer. And so, I just, like you said, just being on a team. And
I'm on a team.
Yeah. But you're a team with everybody. Like you're
100%.
a part of the team, right? The escrow is part of the team. Your lender, part of the team. The client, we're all the team. They don't know that. They just know they're part of the team and how we do this together, right?
It takes a village.
Absolutely. And it takes a village to even raise kids.
Yes.
So it takes a village for everything, right? And we need each other.
We need each other.
We do.
Yeah, we're not. What is it? They put you in solitary confinement as punishment.
Yeah.
So if you're on
yeah.
your own, then you
Yeah.
know. maybe
Although I
it's
do admit I do like being alone sometimes.
so do I.
I do. I'm okay with. I remember when I was younger, I hated being alone. I always wanted to be around people. People were fun, and it's still the same. But now I'm at a point in my life where I love being alone. I love the quietness. I love the peace. I love to be able to hear God speak to me. I like to hear myself, like what it is that my soul is telling me, and what is the right thing to do. How do I think this out? What do I do? And give me a couple of days to pray about it and think about it before making just a decision. And sometimes I have to make some of the hardest decisions.
One of the hardest decisions for you, was it leaving the toxic relationship? Was that hard because of the mindset where you were at, or was that challenging?
Yeah, because I was so far down that rabbit hole of such a dark place, and I allowed myself to get there. There's nobody else to blame but me, but I didn't know any difference. And I allowed somebody to just completely walk all over me and call me every name in the book and treat me just so horribly because I had no self-worth of my value. And so I allowed myself to get down there, and that was at that point once I did, there's no way that would ever happen to me again. And I became so much smarter and wiser too through that. And I can spot out in a minute a manipulating like creep, like whatever in a second because I lived it. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
I think it hurts in the moment. You
know
what I mean?
It took me 6 months to get through it. 6 months of me being a mess. Like I couldn't even function. I couldn't even like get in front of my computer and know what I was doing. And I had so many properties and REO accounts and asset managers and people I were accountable to. And no matter what was going on in my life, I couldn't explain to them what I was going through. But some of them seen it. They knew that something was wrong with me because I was that far down. Like I literally just couldn't understand it. How can people mistreat people so bad?
They're broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're broken.
Yeah.
Someone told
You're
me.
literally broken. Yeah.
Yeah. That same night, I had so many conversations with people, and someone mentioned to me, she said, "We're all broken.
We're all broken.
But broken crayons can still color."
Yeah.
Right. With what you do now, you have a team, obviously. And before I get onto anything, you're admirable, right? So you remind me of, well, my mom.
Okay? Wait a second.
Hold on. It's a good thing.
I'm just kidding.
Not the hugs. You'll probably beat me up if I did that. But you're a go-getter.
Yes.
Right? You're a businesswoman. It's not like you take a no. It's like, how do I fix this? How do I get this done? You motivate other women, right?
Thank you.
You know, I've been in your office. There's women that work there. And you want to see them succeed. And you're just out there in front. You're part of the board.
Yeah. The NARIP.
NARIP.
Director of Education.
Director of Education for NARIP. And so all these things that I saw in my mom, and I've always said this, and I've had many women on the podcast, and that's one of the conversations that we had.
Yeah.
I said, look, I admire women like you. I admire women like my mom.
Yeah.
And in, let's say, Hispanic culture,
yeah,
right, machista culture, a lot of men have a fucking problem with that.
Yeah.
Like they don't let their women just succeed, or they clip their wings, and you can't go here, you can't dress like that. And I said, F the culture. I'm not down with the culture that still has this ass backwards mindset.
Yeah.
And so kudos to you. Like,
you.
I've known you for many years,
Yeah.
you know, in and out of each other's lives.
Yeah.
In passing, and then working together, and
life. Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about you giving back on the NARIP side, like through the education piece now. What is it that you're working on, like with NARIP itself?
So NARIP itself, obviously, we're trying to help the Hispanic community and understand a lot more, and actually all communities, to be quite honest. I don't want to stereotype that, but more of the Hispanic communities where we're like showing them what leadership and educating them on people that have never owned a home. So when I was younger, we didn't own a home. We never did. I went from school to school to school because my mom was never educated. We didn't know. And so I think that what we are trying to do is come together as a community and a culture and being able to go out there really with some core values to educate the community that everybody can be a homeowner, right? And having them be able to be a part of that, to be able to be a homeowner and to be able to own something that is yours and something that you can visualize and have a vision on, and creating memories for your family. And it affects the kids too, right? Because when they're moving from school to school to school, you're meeting different friends, you're that new kid, and then you get picked on, and you're this, and there's so many different things that go along with that. So I think what I'm working on more with the NARIP as the director of education is bringing in more education for the newer agents and for the agents, because we truly need more people to go out there and help a lot of people that need to be homeowners that don't have any clue about it, what they need to do, what do they need to do to qualify, why should they do this, how can they be a homeowner? They don't even think it. They don't understand it. They think their credit's bad. So we need to train more people that are wanting to do this and give back and educate them on what that looks like for somebody. And so for me is bringing in top people that have huge education that can explain certain things that are going on, especially maybe it's a particular lender, maybe it's an attorney that can speak about something on the legal advice. Maybe it is somebody that can teach you about digital marketing versus what traditional marketing was. So it's always something that's teaching and educating our agents and our community to just being better and being better versions of themselves and getting out there so that we can continue to grow and grow to the next generation that can continue to help people along the way.
I think that's fabulous. Early on in my career, I was 17, and I remember someone saying, it was Tim Brahim. He said, become a student of your business.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you're in finance, understand taxes,
right,
understand loans, understand mm-hmm. mortgage-backed securities, understand
mm-hmm.
loan products, understand tax codes, mm-hmm. Understand title, understand escrow. Mm-hmm. Like, what is everything that you do? What does it all encompass? Become a student of all of that.
All of that, yeah.
All of that. And so, again, I'm not an expert in escrow.
Correct.
Because I have a team, right? But I need to know some of it. I can't say every single time my client has a question, hold on, let me ask.
Right.
I got to be able to address it and understand it. So I think it's valuable that NARIP does that mm-hmm. for the agents, because the agents have to be equipped. And then at the end of the day, you have to be able to formulate your own opinion.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to take market data, mm-hmm. your own information, specific to the area that you're in, dissect it, and then you give your client your own opinion, your professional opinion, to be able to help that family.
Yeah.
So
when I go in and I can talk to a client and I can be very articulate, and the way that I can be very articulate in talking to a client is the more knowledge that I have and the more skills that I learn. And even 25 years into the business, I still go to as many things that I can so that I can understand, because the market is changing so much, and there's already over 100,000 agents that have gotten out of it nationwide, right? And they're still continuing to do it. The average agent, they say right now, is 16 years, makes only $80,000 a year, right? That's the average agent. Did you know that there's 19 board members on the feds that make the decisions of the rates and the inflation and all that stuff? When I go and I have a conversation with a client and I know all that, do you know what they look at me like? Like, I'm the community market expert. Do you know what that does? Do you know what that does to my confidence when I walk in and I sit in front of a client and I know that I am up for the challenge, and if they ask me a question, that I can answer that question because I get educated, because I go to all the resources that are provided, and because I want to learn and I want to be there. And I want to be able that when I educate somebody that I have most of the answers. And you're right, I don't have all the answers and I don't know everything about everything, but I know enough that I can educate them enough to where they're comfortable and they're like, wow, you know what? She's somebody that we need to hire and have on our side because of her A team and the other people that she works alongside with. And so I take pride in that, and I'm very passionate about that. And that's why I show up every day. That's why I encourage my team. every day to show up, to be there, because I want to see you be successful. And there's nothing more in the world that drives me crazy is that an agent that has worked their ass off so hard to go take the courses, to go to LA, maybe fail the test once or twice, and then passes the exam finally, gets their real estate license. They're so excited. And they come to me and they say, I got to go get a job because real estate's not paying me. And I'm like, wait a second. We need to reevaluate this. Are you showing up on time? Are you getting to the office? Are you marketing? Are you learning? Are you doing the things that you need to be doing to be successful in this business? Because if you're not, then that's the issue. It's not the broker. Right? So that right there kills me. And then all the training and all the love and all the everything else that I pour into my agents. I mean, they get videography, they get, a CRM, they get all these different resources. I mean, everything they possibly need to go on to a listing appointment and go, wow, your listing presentation is dynamic. And I know it is because I've worked so hard for so many years putting it together. But putting it together is by showing up and being present.
You said everything I wanted to say. No, this is the thing. I, as a lender, right?
Yes.
And let's talk about social media real quick. I see like, oh, join this office. Oh, join this office. And it's like a carousel.
Yeah.
And I used to see it back in the day with lenders where they used to just negotiate a higher commission split.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100%, what is it? 100% of zero is still zero.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And I can look up these agents' numbers, just like, you can look up agents' numbers and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, they're not producing shit.
Yeah.
They're just going office to office. And I sometimes get phone calls from agents and they'll also ask me the question, what brokerage should I go to? Right? Like, who should I go to? It's like, honestly, it's like, at the end of the day, it's where you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Like, who do you connect with? Right? Because you might get 80% here, 90% there, and 85% in the middle. But it's like, what resources do they give you? Most of them might have the same resources.
Yeah.
Most of them. But it's like, is the broker behind you? Is the team leader behind you? All these things, bells, whistles, everything, fireworks going all over the place. But are you showing up? If you're not showing up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty hard on my team, I'd have to say. I always encourage them. And I do it where I come from a place of love. It's because I want to see you succeed. Sometimes they don't want to show up to the meetings or they don't want to come to this seminar, whatever it is that they don't want to do. And, at the end of the day, they're self-employed. They're their own CEO. And all I can tell them is, hey, listen, where do you want your business to be? And if you really want it to be and you want to be successful, and if you don't want to emulate me, you can emulate somebody else. But if you want to do that, you need to do that. You need to show up. And it doesn't mean you get out of bed at 10 o'clock and then just show up and kind of just when you want. And that's the difference between a solo agent and a team too, right? When you're on a team, there's certain expectations. There's certain things that you need to do. There's certain things. It's a give and take relationship. If you're a solo agent, you can go whenever you want. I mean, hey, it's up to you. It's your decision at the end of the day, whatever works for you. And when people come to me and they ask me, what about your brokerage? Well, there is a lot more that I think we offer. And nowadays it's because of the change in life, right? We now need to have stocks. We now need to have insurance. We now need to have these things where, the brick and mortars before sometimes didn't really have all those things. So things are changing up a little bit. We're becoming more digital. So a lot of stuff that I do is on camera and video. I remember back in the day when somebody called me, what happens at home inspection? I have to leave the table from where I'm having dinner with 5 people and got to go out and explain what a home inspection is. Now I just send them a YouTube video, watch it 5 times, and you'll know exactly what's going to happen at that home inspection. I just bought myself time back.
I used to do that during COVID. Actually prior to COVID. The explanation of a down payment assistance loan with 3 loans is really long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk about the first mortgage, then you have a second mortgage, then you have a third mortgage. Each one of them have different terms, different rates, different things. And so I'm like, dude, I'm tired of having this conversation over and over.
That's what we do though.
So throw on the camera. Yep. Like, okay, what's the first mortgage? What's this program? And then when I would go into my meetings and my consultation, I would pre-send the video.
Yep.
Right? Watch this, and then we're going to have our meeting tomorrow.
Yep.
time saver. I just
Totally.
gave so much time back.
Mhm.
So yes, kudos to you. That's super smart.
Yeah.
Super, super smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seasoned agents. What are 3 tips that you can give a seasoned agent right now?
What are 3 tips that I can give? I think that seasoned agents need to be coached and continue being coaching, even if you're a seasoned agent, because times are changing. I'm a seasoned agent. I'm 25 years and I'm still, I coach with 4 different people still. I have a mindset coach still. I have a business coach. I have a marketing coach. And then I have, what other coach? Oh, I have a spiritual coach. And then, of course, I have my relationship with God, right? So all those things. And seasoned agents, I think that they need to get out there and continue their coaching, their mentorship, and just being a value and being a community market leader. And that's what I would say with seasoned agents, and teach the younger generation, right? Because I mean, I'll do real estate as long as Marty Rodriguez has been doing real estate. She loves it. She's passionate about it. I'll do the same thing. But I also have grandchildren too, and I want to create memories. I didn't get to do that with my kids when they were growing up, because you remember back in 2008, I was like one of the top REO agents. I don't know if you remember that, but I had over 250 REO agents at REO asset properties at a time, and I missed out on a lot of stuff. And if there's one thing I would say that I regret, is missing out on some of those things. So I just think that for seasoned agents, that they just need to have an open mind, and you need to continue to educate and just be there to teach the younger generation that are coming into the business. And the tension doesn't need to be so thick where you can cut it with a knife. I think that just being able to give back.
I agree. And for a newer agent,
get your ass out of bed and get to work. Like, come on, you're not entitled to anything. There's no entitlement. I'm so over that. Get up, work hard, go after what you want. Make some goals, follow what you're going to do, and do it. I'm so over that right now. When I was a new agent, that's not how we worked. We got up, we worked hard. I pound the pavement. I was REO. I've seen all kinds of things going on. There's nothing that anybody owes you. You need to go out there and you need to work hard. And if you want something, you're capable of doing it, but it's all on you. Take accountability and show up. Show up for yourself. Show up for your family. Show up for the goals that you said, I want to get my real estate license. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to make a certain amount of money and I want to create some freedom for myself. Show up for that. You said it. You put your goal there. You mean it. Do it. I wouldn't say it that way if a new agent came to me. But I'm telling you, like, what would I say? Honestly,
no, that's true,
I'm being so truthful. That's, you know what? You come to me and you tell me you're broke and you've only got this amount of money and you got this and that, and I look at you and I'm like, get to work.
I had a panel. The experience on the panel was about 120 something years in lending. Top producers, all top 1% in the nation on lenders. And one of the questions from someone was like, well, I don't have the clients. And they were kind of saying, I'm not making the same amount of money. All 4 panelists almost berated the guy, like kind of like telling him the same exact answer, like get to work. Like there's plenty of clients out there. There's plenty of business for us right
everybody.
now. Get to work. In short words, and I know that they weren't trying to communicate it that way.
Yeah.
It was like the last question of a panel, and we're kind of wrapping up. I felt bad, like, damn, we all kind of just went on him, like, to just get the fuck to work. But at the end of the day, that's like, there is no pill.
Well, you can't fluff it. You can't fluff it. If somebody's not doing and they're complaining and they're being negative and saying all these things that are going on, you can't fluff it. You got to tell them you need to get to work. You need to get into the office. You need to go and collaborate. You need to go out and go get business. However you get it, whatever it is that you're going to do, master it. Don't try to do everything. Master one thing at a time and see if that works for you. But it really, there is no fluff around it. And as much as I want to say, and especially COVID, and I want to blame a lot of on COVID, is you got kids that are like, you got people putting signs out in front of their businesses saying, job will hire you, because nobody wants to work, right? And so I just think, you know what, if you really want it, go out and go after it and go get it and do what you got to do and be intentional.
2 more questions.
Yes, please.
All right. On my side. So, on the well, on the lending side, right? So as a loan officer on my side, one of the questions that we ask our agents is, what can I do to improve our relationship? I think it's important to have communication, open lines of communication with your partner. You have to be honest in business and the people around you, right? This is not working. Like, hey, this is what's going on, but giving each other an opportunity to improve things without the conversation, without the dialogue. I can only assume I may be messing up, but I think I'm doing it right.
Right.
So what's something that you can tell a loan officer? You've had a lot of loan officers come in your direction, try to get your business, try to get into your office, try to work with your team. What's something that you tell them, like what's something that you would change about a loan officer or something they could do that can help them stand out?
That's such a great question because you are right. There's, being in the business for 25 years, there's been plenty of loan officers that come and go. And I think the biggest thing for me that I love when I work with somebody and it's communication. And it's when, maybe there's a difficult client, maybe there's a difficult situation, maybe whatever it is that's going on, that there's that communication that you guys are able to collaborate on and say, okay, we are not a loan officer and you're not a real estate agent. We are solvers. And instead of selling, we need to start solving, right? So I like to be able to have the collaboration, the communication of what we're going to do and being intentional and having that communication. That is the biggest thing for me. The hardest thing for me that when I work with a lender is if I'm out and I'm showing a property and there's so low inventory and I've got multiple offers right there and there's something that changes in that loan program and I told that loan officer that I'm going out this weekend and I need you to be available via text, via phone, whatever it is, because if you're not able to answer me and I can't get what I need that moment and get that offer, I could lose that entire offer for my client. And that is the biggest pet peeve for me. So if there's anything that I could say that anybody that's in the loan side of things is to really broaden their communication and understanding that us as agents going out there and showing multiple homes, because typically we want to show them multiple homes. I don't want to show somebody one house and that's the house they're like, yeah, it'd be great, but at the same time, it's in all fairness, I want them to see at least 3 homes so that they really know what they're looking at, right? And I think being able that when that agent is out, that loan officer also is available during that time and that communication is open. And I want to say, George, truly and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, that your guys' communication has been impeccable. Every time I've needed you, you've answered the phone. I love the emails that I get with just an update that I don't even have to ask you for an update. It's kind of funny. I'm like, is this George or is this Mike? Is this Mike or is this George? But it's cool because that's what a team does, right? It doesn't matter who it is as long as you're getting an update. And the fact that I get updated and I don't have to call and say, hey, what's going on with this person or chase somebody down, that is so difficult and frustrating. And then at the end of the day, the client doesn't know because they don't know what the back end looks like. They think I'm the reason that's happening. Why can't you reach somebody? Why didn't you have your ducks in a row? Why can't we get this? Oh, we can't, you know what I mean? Whatever the answer might be, it's very disheartening to have to give your client that because they truly have finally gotten to a position where they want to buy, they qualify, they can get out, they can look at homes. This is their big, huge event, the biggest asset of their entire life. And so having that A team be available and work together with the collaboration is really one of the biggest things for me that I would say with any of my partners that I work with, including my agents. Let me throw that out really quick. Like if I'm getting leads in and they're coming in, I'm not going to be the one that's in the office that has to be prospecting so I can send you leads. You need to be in that office. $1 million buyer walks in that office. You think I'm going to just throw it out to an agent? Whoever agent is in that office is going to get that lead. I'm not going to throw it to you. So it's the same thing, right?
I think so. It's a simple example, which is not of this world, but it's the tattoo world. Whoever's there at the shop and somebody walks in,
Yeah.
and it's a walk-in,
Yeah.
and they're getting a full sleeve done, and it's going to cost $1,000.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get it.
You're going to get it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the guy at home or the guy out in Vegas partying.
Yep.
And thank you for saying that. It's
Yeah.
you're welcome, and it's our pleasure, and
Yeah.
we're happy that works.
Yeah.
We learned early on that the biggest failure in our industry is It's communication.
Yeah.
It's not loan programs and rate and I got this little new shiny thing. Yes, all those things are extras.
Extras. Part of it.
They're all
Bonuses.
extras.
Whatever.
Bonuses.
Yeah.
Little cherry on top. And you want to have that. You want to be diverse, but if you don't communicate, I had a realtor. I called on a Saturday once, and she's like, "What happened?" Like, I was a listing agent. I'm like, "This is George, Integrity Home Finance, giving you an update." Like, well, what happened? Like, super pissed off. I'm like, nothing happened. I'm just calling to give you an update, right? I wanted to check and give you an update. It's like, well, lenders only call when there's bad news. So what's the free like? I'm like, dude, this lady's like,
because you had to break down her barriers. She had barriers that,
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're on schedule. Like, making
That's
sure.
so cool. That is so cool. And you know what else is really cool too is that having me here, you know what I mean? Like going that extra mile by bringing in like one of your partners that you work with and having me come on here and showcase me and have me do a podcast with you. I mean, that's intentional. And that is, here we are at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night and bringing me in. That's kind of like when our NARIPs, when we have sponsors, right? We want to showcase them. We want to showcase our partners. We want to help them get business and get their name out there and what they're doing and help other people. And that also is a huge bonus.
It's giving others a voice.
Yes.
And so that's what I wanted to end with. And, I don't have to end it, but I think my buddy over here might be hungry and want some dinner.
Yeah, he's always hungry. It's funny. Last joke. And then, so it was funny. I was telling all the girls, like, because I was going to DC for the NARIP thing. And they're all like, what's Eric going to do when Carrie's gone? Because we're together all the time. And we get this big old chat group. Eric's going to eat. He's gonna eat EAT in large capital letters. It's just funny. But
he's gonna be on next.
Eric is a foodie for sure. He's definitely a foodie. But yeah, you should have him on next. He's pretty funny. I've got a great husband. I've got a lot of support. He supports the business. He supports all of us. And even with his madness of what he does on the other side of being on the wholesale, the off market division, and all that, he really does go above and beyond and help us as a team because he knows that I need the help, and I have an assistant right now and she does an amazing job, but she wants to be a real estate agent. And people ask me, well, what are you going to do with your assistant? She's so good. She wants to be an agent. You know what? I'm going to let her spread her wings because I'm not going to hold somebody down. I want people to grow. And if she is so amazing, and a matter of fact, she's not even an agent. And we already have a listing appointment this weekend that she set up with a buyer and she's not even an agent yet. My point is that she's hungry and she wants to do this. And I'm not going to hold somebody back that wants to do that. Is she an amazing agent? I mean, amazing assistant to me? Absolutely. Does she get everything done? Absolutely. I mean, she's just amazing. And I call her Amazing Annette. And I will leave with this, that I will never hold somebody back to what their dreams are. And so, I'll let her spread her wings.
I think we all should help people do that.
Yeah, we should. Help
any
people grow.
Departing messages or words of encouragement or anything that you would like to leave with the audience?
Yeah. So I would like to say first and foremost, thanks for anybody that's tuning in. I'm going to watch this whole entire video and my story. And it's taken me a long time to really get to where I can tell my entire story. Obviously, there's embarrassment. There's sometimes shame. There's sometimes guilt. There's all of those things. But you have to learn to embrace the celebration of making those changes. And I think that when you really focus on your entrepreneurship or wherever you want to go in life, that you and only you can make that decision and make that happen. If I can do it, anybody else can do it. And if anybody can do it with the right mentality, the right focus, the right people in your life, the people that you surround yourself with, not being negative or being distracted and all that stuff, I think that you can definitely go out there and succeed. And I always am going to leave this is success breeds success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
Thanks.
That was a really good message.
Thanks.
I loved it.
Thanks. Hope they all liked it too.
Show your shoes.
My shoes. Oh, yes. My Versace shoes that I wore today. Yeah. I'm getting a little bit, want me to take them off?
I mean, I wasn't going to hold your foot.
my little, Versace shoes, but yeah.
I see, I could hold them.
Yeah.
These are cool, man.
Yeah.
I like them.
Eric bought them for me, matter of fact. Yeah, and I think we got them at a really good discount. The actual price on them was $7.95, and I think we ended up getting them for $200 or something like that. I know it
those are
sounds
cool
crazy,
shoes, man.
$200, but yeah, you're comfortable.
Those are good. You okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we good? Are we off?
Yeah, we're off.
Oh,
We're
good.
We're done. Yeah.
I'm done. Look. Ready?
The beat go. Oh. Can I hire him?
Yeah, I can.
That's cool, man.
Cool.
I like it.
Little teaser for your look.
So what do you think? How do we do?
I think we did good. I think we did really good.
Good.
There's a ton of value that you provided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's I think sometimes just in conversation, right? Because it's not like you're on stage or anything like that. It's just in conversation, like the natural good in you comes out.
Thanks.
And so we caught all of it.
Thanks.
So there'll be plenty of stuff for you to share. We'll share it for you too.
I'd like to say, and this is just being intentional about this, is that I haven't always been that way, right? I've had my own ego. I've had my own certain things where like, oh, okay, I'm like top producer, this, that, or whatever. We have all had our egos. And it's been like when I really got into my faith and stuff that I started changing and humility started to come into my life and believing more in humanity and how you treat people and all those things. And I'm still working on it, and I'm still trying to give people mercy and grace and all those things, but there's still boundaries too.
Yeah. I know, and I feel a certain way about myself, like how I see myself.
Yeah.
And how, well, we went to a Laker game. So I went to a Laker game on Friday night, 2 nights ago.
Did you wear that hat?
This one? No, I wear a different hat. But a friend of mine says that, like, I was a jerk in high school. That I thought I was too good. Like, I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't know if I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I did treat some kids bad, or like same thing in my 20s, or when I thought I was very successful, like very early on, doing real estate at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe my head got a little bit blown up. There's a little inside joke that Mike and Eddie have. Eddie's a lender at Guaranteed Rate, and they've known me since I was a kid. My first beer I had it with Mike and with Eddie, and so this, I don't know, thing that I thought that I was. Yeah. And then it's like, then I gotta put my tail between my legs and be like, you know what, man, that's just not me. Like, I feel so much better now. Yeah. I feel so much better being good and genuine and kind.
So much, right? It's so funny. I have people that come to me and go, oh man, I did a transaction with you like 20 years ago, and I'm like, shit, was I nice? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, was I nice to you? Oh my gosh, was I nice to you? And they're like, oh yeah, you're fine. Or then I'd have people say, oh yeah, you didn't even answer my offer or whatever it was, but I'm not that person anymore. Yeah, I'm not that person anymore. But we need to celebrate people's growth, and I think more people need to do that. And when I hear people say that so-and-so was this or so-and-so is that, which a lot of times I don't even leave the door open for people to really talk about other people because I don't want to be involved in that. I have my own conversations with my husband, but I will tell you that I try not to because I want to celebrate people's goodness in them, like you said earlier. I really want to believe. And there's one thing that my husband did tell me, and I'll never forget this, and this has been something that I kind of live by. His dad has taught him a lot of things that he shared with me as bringing value to me that I didn't learn as a child And one of the things that he said is, go into every relationship with 100% trust, Carrie. And it won't take long. People will start breaking down will start breaking down the relationship on their own, which is true. You'll go into a relationship, you guys have a great relationship, a month later, something happens, whatever. People just do that naturally on their own. And so I've done that. I go into every relationship with 100% trust, with 100% opportunity. Before I didn't used to do that. I was like, oh my God, I know all these things about you, and I don't trust you, I don't want to trust you, but I'm going to, whatever. But I try to go into it with a clean slate and trusting you, and then sure enough, they'll break it down on their own. And it's sad to say, but that's truly what happens. But he's taught me that, and I've seen it happen a lot.
It's like people are people, right? And I've always
But
said.
why are we so fucked up?
I mean, it's life, right? I mean, that's like it's that thing right there.
It doesn't have to be.
It isn't, but this is the thing, though. It's like that whole Rocky quote. It's like the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Like there's bad people.
I know.
And the thing is, like life is never lost. Life's always gonna win, right? Life's gonna beat you up. It's like that guy, dude. I felt like shit. I'm like, how you doing, man? And he's like, my dad has cancer. My girl's losing her liver. She's losing this other part. He's like, literally, I just walked from, I got a phone call, and they just murdered my friend in front of his house. He goes, I just got the call right now.
Like, this is just today?
This is 2 days ago, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
So what did you do?
Well, I told him that I was there for him. Like, like, I'm here for you. Like, do you want to go outside? Like, we're not close. Like, we're not, or anything. I said, look, you ever need to talk? Yeah. Or maybe, I said, dude, if you don't even fucking want to talk, and you just want to hang, you have my number. I was like, I'm here for you. I'm not saying that just to fucking say it. Like, you want to go right now? Like I just needed to be there with him. Yeah. And hear him. Then he started showing me pictures and just giving him the time. That's all he wanted, right? Yeah. That's all he could have done. Yeah. Yeah. So.
And isn't it crazy when you think that you have so many problems
and then that.
And then somebody comes up and tells you their story, and it's like, holy shit, man, I better check myself.
He starts showing me pictures of his girl that he's like, remember, George? Because we went to high school. And I'm thinking, like, we did. Mm-hmm. And he started showing me pictures of him and his wife when they were high school sweethearts. Mm-hmm. He's like, now, for the last 8 months, I've had to carry her. And, like, she's dying. Like, my wife is dying. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. Like, again, whatever the fuck I'm going through doesn't compare to this guy's heartbreak, right? But I always want to see the good in people. Yeah, if they're bad, they're gonna fucking pop it out. It's gonna come out. Like if you're bad, that tail's gonna come out.
It is. It is. It doesn't take long. But he's taught me that, and I see that, and but I'm so glad that you have such a good heart like that. I mean, and that's truly who we are. Yeah, we can't look at ourselves like we're selling. We got to stop selling and start solving. Is truly what we need to do. Well, let me just tell you this last story, and I'll leave. I had a lady that wanted to list her house. She interviewed 4 agents, and I was the 5th one. And she for some reason said, "God, I forgot to, I'm interviewing these agents, but you're the last person that I forgot to even ask. What should I do?" Like she just interviewed without and so she spoke to God, and God said, "Oh, you need to call Carrie," and she had my number. And somebody referred to me, but she hadn't called me yet. She'd called 4 other agents. But for whatever reason, something wasn't resonating. And she called me at 6:30 in the morning, and I answered my phone. Hello? Because she does not get up at 4:30 in the morning, right? Hello? And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was going to get an answering machine of a business. And I go, well, you got a business, but you didn't get an answering machine. You got an actual agent. How can I help you? She goes, oh my gosh, God is so good. I just prayed to him right now, and I was calling you because I'm going to get ready to sell my house, and here's my story. I lived in here for 28 years. I raised my kids, and the house is too big, and I lost my husband 2 years ago, and I don't know what to do, and I've never written a check. I've never paid a bill, and I've never done anything. My husband did everything for me, and I don't know what to do. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and we kind of connected, and then I did a little prayer, and we connected on a faith level, and I went to her house, and I had my listing contract, I had everything, my presentation, I had everything, and the daughter was there, and they all live out of state, and the daughter was like kind of an alpha personality, and she's just scoping me out, and I could feel the heat of her just scoping me out, like, you're coming, who are you, what are you about, and I could feel it when she's following me around the house, and I get to the table, and I could see her tears, and I don't have experience with that. I've never lost anybody super, super close to me, right? And I don't have experience with the emotional side of that, right? And it's not that it's transactional, but that was really emotional, right? And so I looked at her, and she's like, well, tell me her story, and I just kind of grabbed my stuff, and I said, listen, I'm going to be back. I need you to just think about some things, and I'm going to maybe back, but I think right now it's not the right time for us, and for you, and I want you to really think this through, and we'll come up with a plan, but I'll be back. And I hired her a grieving counselor for 4 weeks. And I did it in a very diplomatic, the way I delivered it was I had to be intentional with the rest of the family, and I had to get on Zoom with their son that's a brain surgeon, very articulate, he's smart, and then the daughter's in human resource. Like, this is the family I was dealing with, very educated, very everything. And I hired her a grieving coach, and she had 2 sessions, and she called me. She goes, I'm ready to list my house with you. No other agent did that. Nobody offered that to her. They all wanted to walk in and take the transaction and list the property. I listed it. 4 days later, I sold it for $100,000 over. And she called me and she says, and I didn't even tell her that the appraised value didn't come. And she asked me, but I didn't want to tell her. And finally, when the transaction was over, I said, okay, I'm going to tell you something. And I told her, and I said, you know what? You made $70,000 more than what you thought you were going to make, because your husband was watching over you. Your husband had a lot to do with this too. Because I needed her to visualize herself in another house, which she did, and she finally found another house, and that all worked out. She moved out of state, she moved closer to the kids. But she also knew that her husband was part of this transaction. And so the way that I delivered that message to her changed everything. And she just wrote me this amazing, probably the best review that's going to come out in the next couple of days. But she wrote me a review. But you know what? To me, when I walked out, it wasn't even about. So I ended up bringing Wanda back because Wanda lost her husband many years ago. She lost her husband, so she knew how to deal with the emotional side of somebody losing somebody, and then having to know that you have to move out of that house where you created all your memories from, and you weren't ready, and you couldn't disconnect from it yet. And so we ended up doing it, closed it within 30 days, got her out of the house, moved her. I even went over there and packed in my stilettos. She makes a joke about it, but she calls me her fireball. And I got every single contingency waived for her. But that's a story that I will never forget, because it was the first time I ever walked out of a listing without getting a listing contract signed intentionally.
It's it's finding solutions for people. We'll make the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she never questioned my commission or did anything, but she thought I was worth every single penny. So she was amazing. And I just, what I just did too? I just had all of her pictures from her MLS that we did all professionally, made into a book, and a family portrait in the front. And it should be at my house any day. And she has no idea, and I'm sending that to her.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
I want to see him.
I will. Well, thank you so much for everything. I hope you love the dancing.
I am. I want to take a picture with my dancing.
Are we going to dance? Mike says he hasn't seen you dance in a while. Where did you learn how to dance, by the way?
No, just my dad and my mom.
Are they still together?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
No, but they live together.
Okay.
Serious.
They're good friends?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Pretty much.
You don't live there with them, no?
No.
I see you take some. I think I see you take some pictures with your dad.
Yeah, so they live with Diego now. So Diego, my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid that's right here. Oh, I didn't know that was your brother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So my mom. So Diego lived with me for some time. Then my mom lived with me for some time. Then my mom moved out. Then my mom moved back in with me, and then Diego bought a house. And when he bought a house, my mom went with him, and then my dad moved in too.
Oh my gosh! So now you don't have any parents at the house, don't with Diego?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's all my dad has a room upstairs, and she has a room downstairs.
Oh my god, that's
divorced,
so cool!
But they're friends. They're out in LA today.
Yeah.
They're doing some shopping. We have a friend here from Texas.
So they're better friends than they were before
100%.
Yeah, that's
100%.
so cool.
They've known each other since they were kids.
Yeah.
And
it's only the best way to
cool.
It's just we're friends. We just
move out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
They take care of each other. They love each other. You have to love each other.
Yeah.
You've known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Awesome. Selfie, or do you want him to take a picture?
I'll take a picture.
I'll have him take a picture. That's good.
I'll use the new phone.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
This one. No, I'll use this one. It's easier. Oh, hell no. Let's go this way. This way. Oh, shit, fuck. Okay. Let's do the...
Am I going to hold my boots or no boots?
Whatever you want.
Those are cool.
Let's see.
Took me 10 hours to put that together. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and... That looks cool. What do you think?
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Send to moi.
I will send it to you. Thank you so much for having me and